Putin claims to have given the Wagner mercenaries the choice to remain as a single group. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he offered the mercenaries of the Wagner Special Sun Army Company the opportunity to continue working as a unit under the same commander. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he made an offer for the Wagner Special Sun Army Company unit. The opposition party briefly posed the biggest threat to its 23-year rule last month. Putin's statements on Friday seemed to reflect Ukraine's desire to trust one of the most powerful Russian forces, the Wagnerian mercenaries, and their leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin. As the war enters its 17th month, a new division has emerged in the Russian army, fighting against the Ukrainian army. In his speech to the business newspaper Kommersant, Putin told for the first time the Kremlin incident on June 29, 5 days after the opposition, involving 35 Wagnerian leaders, including Prigozhin. He said he praised their efforts in Ukraine, condemned their participation in an uprising that he had previously condemned as treason, and offered them a chance for military service in the future. Putin told Kommersant that one option is for Wagner to take over the same commander, known as the Greyhead, who led the private army in Ukraine for 16 months. Putin said everyone can gather in one place and go about their business. Nothing will change for them. They will always be led by the same person who is their true leader. Putin said. Most of Wagner's soldiers agreed to the deal, but Prigozhin, sitting at the front, did not see their answer and immediately dismissed the idea, replying that the children will not accept the decision. Putin did not say where he was, and did not say how much he was able to send according to Wagner's recommendations, and what advice the army finally received. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov declined to elaborate on Wagner's future in an interview with reporters on Friday. Putin had previously said that Wagner's army must choose to sign an agreement with the Ministry of Defense, transfer to neighboring Belarus, or decommission. In an interview with Kommersant, Putin stated that Wagner's ordinary soldiers were fighting for honor in Ukraine, adding that it was a pity that they took part in the offensive. Putin said these words in an interview with journalist Kommersant, who has the exclusive right to communicate with the president. It looks like they're doing their best to reject Prigozhin as they try to control Wagner's squad and boost their confidence. The former Russian president denied any connection between the government and Wagner, but admitted that after the attack, Prigozhin's companies received billions of dollars from the state, and noted that investigators will investigate whether the money was stolen and report to Prigozhin. Warning: may face financial problems. State-controlled media published videos and photos of Prigozhin's St. Petersburg mansion. Petersburg, there were piles of money, gold bars, and fake passports. Such images are part of a smear campaign against Wagner's boss, who, despite his finances being attributed to Putin, portrays himself as an enemy of the corrupt elite. Putin also said that Wagner's work has no legal basis. There is no law for private military organizations. There is no such law, he told Kommersant. In an offensive that lasted less than 24 hours on June 23 to 24, Prigozhin's mercenaries rapidly overran the southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don, capturing the soldiers inside the office there without firing a single shot. Kilometers, 125 miles, from Moscow. Prigozhin described this as a single move to oppose Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Chief of Staff Valery Gerasimov, who asked Wagner to sign an agreement with the Defense Ministry from July 1st. The attack was met with little resistance, and the army shot down at least 6 military planes and a command plane, killing at least 10 pilots. In exchange for pardoning him and his men and allowing them to move to Belarus, Prigozhin ordered his men to return to the camp after the attack to end the rebellion. Negotiating Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said that Prigozhin was in Russia while Wagner's troops were in their camp. He did not specify the location of the camp, but Prigozhin's mercenaries fought with Russian forces in eastern Ukraine, as well as in Russia, before the revolt. Lukashenko said that his army could benefit from the combat of special forces, and on Friday Belarusian state television showed Wagner training trainers of the Belarusian Regional Defense Forces at the firing point near Asipovich, which Wagner provided for the camp for Wagner. The Belarusian messaging app channel said that Prigozhin spent a night at the camp earlier this week and posted a photo of himself taken in a tent. While Prigozhin's fate remains unclear, the Defense Ministry said on Wednesday that Wagner had given his weapons to the Russian army. It seemed to indicate the Russian authorities' attempt to suppress the threat posed by the mercenaries, and also to announce the end of the group's work in Ukraine. At the same time, new cracks appeared in the army. Mother. General Ivan Popov, commander of the 58th Army in the Zaporozhye region, which was the target of the Ukrainian counterattack, said he was fired after voicing the problems his troops were facing in what he called a broken promise. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov declined to comment on Popov's statement and referred questions that have not yet been addressed to the Ministry of Defense. In the latest conflict, Ukraine said it shot down an Iranian-made 16 Shahid drone that was launched overnight from the Krasnodar region in southern Russia. The Home Manager said at least 4 civilians were killed and 10 injured in the past 24 hours. Alexander Gyuzov, the governor of Russia's southern region, added that when they arrived in the city of Voronezh on Thursday night, 3 drones were destroyed and there were no casualties or property damage. A drone crashed and exploded in Kurchatov, where the Kursk nuclear power plant is located, and Governor Roman Stalovoit said there was no damage to the main facilities. According to the regional governor, 3 people were injured as a result of the explosion of a car in the Belgorod region, close to the border with Ukraine. Vyacheslav Gladkov. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba reiterated this week British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace's view that Ukraine could show more interest in the military aid it receives from the West. Mr. Kuleba said the comments were a misunderstanding by the British leader. There is no reason for anyone to accuse us of dishonesty. But the truth is, sorry, we are at war, he said. I say, thanks, arm is enough when we win, but arm is not enough during war.